Welcome back. As South Africa marks the 16 Days of Activism campaign, a disturbing incident has been reported in the Northern Cape. A 6-week-old baby has been raped, allegedly by her own uncle. Sadly, it's not the first case of its kind, and it's doubtful it will be the last. But how can we turn the tide? Well, joining me now is Dr. Shaheda Omar, Clinical Director at the Teddy Bear Clinic for Abused Children. Shaheda, welcome to Morning News today. I wish we were meeting under better circumstances, but we're here to discuss, firstly, this awful incident that we're hearing about, the 6-week-old baby raped by her own uncle. And I think the nation waking up this morning wondering what is happening.
Well, firstly, it's unthinkable, it's incomprehensible, and it's just totally unacceptable. We teach older children to protect themselves. How can one teach a 6-week-old baby to protect themselves? And the other thing is that it's implicit. I mean, families and loved ones are supposed to protect children. This is an act of a very sick person who has probably underlying gross pathologies. I think in the past there was the HIV myth and the influence of drugs like Neope and alcohol.
All of that,
but this is absolutely a deplorable act which we cannot sit complacently and watch.
What should we as a nation be doing about this? How can we fix it?
Well, I think it needs intervention on various levels. We need micro-level intervention, meso-level intervention, and even at policy level, where there needs to be a nationwide awareness and ensuring that children are protected, where my child is your child, and everybody needs to assume responsibility.
Should we be feeling, Shaheda, a sense of panic that, you know, we're not just watching out for strangers or the strange-looking man who offers your child sweets and then takes him away, that these are people who are close to us. So it's parents also who are doing it to their own children. You know, should we not be in a state of agitation about this?
Indeed, because it is close to loved ones that are hurting and abusing and violating and brutalizing children, and that is unacceptable. And I absolutely agree that it's not a stranger danger. There are strangers who have violated children, but we are finding that it's becoming more prevalent where people who have a relationship with children are violating children.
And I know you say we need to tackle this on many levels, and one of those levels would be to start in our schools. But let's look at the incident of that matric exam paper, the drama paper that has caused so much controversy this week, about the children being asked to direct a scene with a loaf of bread and a broomstick and direct basically the rape of a baby, which was a true story, baby Tsepang from 2011. Just your thoughts on that?
Well, I think if the children were not prepared, if they were not sensitized to that, it would be very irresponsible, because it could result in trauma. It would evoke strong emotions and trigger emotions for children who may have been victims of abuse.
Or someone in their family. I think there was one of the pupils who said her little sister had been raped, and for her, she was traumatized when she walked out of that paper.
And that is our concern, because we feel that this could result in further trauma, secondary victimization of children. And who is assuming responsibility for that? Because it would require de-rolling, debriefing, and it seems like the education system failed the children. There wasn't careful planning, thinking around this. So it is really a huge concern.
Now, the Education Department has defended it, saying it is to make our children aware of the world they live in, and this is what is happening around them. But surely, and I know you would advocate, of course, for awareness in our schools, but is this the way to do it? Do we need to do things like this to make them aware?
As I said, I think, if there was adequate preparation, and who knows, I mean, as we don't know, it's an unknown entity what children are experiencing, and writing an exam is stressful enough, and matric exam places a lot of pressure on children, so this would not have been an appropriate platform. There are other platforms where children can be made aware of the realities and the dangers lurking out there.
I mean, these are, 17, 18-year-olds we are talking about. In your opinion, a 17, 18-year-old, would they ever be prepared to direct a scene like this? That's basically putting them in the mind of a rapist, to make it more effective.
Again, as I said, I think that they would have to be de-rolled and desensitized and debriefed. There should be pre-briefing and post-debriefing.
we've been talking about the 16 days campaign this entire week, and we've looked at the year. We've looked at it starting with Annie in Boyson. We've looked at the cousins in Diepsloot and the other murder also in Diepsloot, and then a baby. It's been quite, how can I put it, an upsetting year, more than it would have been previously. What do we need to start doing differently from now? What does government need to be doing differently?
Well, firstly, we do not agree with 16 days of activism. Our activism is 367 days of activism. It's ongoing. The work that we do, the community outreach, the awareness raising, the teaching of children around protective skills, reaching out to communities, informing them of dangers lurking out there, is something that needs to be done all the time. 16 days of activism is like a Valentines Day. This hype and media excitement and energy is all channeled towards 16 days, and that is not sufficient.
All right, thank you very much. That was Dr. Shaheda Omar, Clinical Director at the Teddy Bear Clinic for Abused Children.
News that moves. eNCA.com.